passed away?
Yeah. It's actually breaking news. Breaking news, everyone. Michael.
Breaking news. No, in all honesty, it's crazy
Pop
to think next year it'll be 10 years since he died.
That's crazy. That's wild. That is
10 years, a decade.
That does not seem that can't be true, Bobby. You're lying to me. Now I'm the one in shock. 10 years?
June 2009. Wow. 2009, next year.
That's crazy. Craziness. Michael Jackson. Almost 10 years. Prince. Yeah, Prince too. For a year now? Year for Prince? So, a couple of the legends.
Over here.
Couple of the legends, Bobby. And then just people just dying. Who's the triple or XXX Temptation? He died. Rest in peace.
Who?
He's like a rapper. He's like an underground rapper. It was a pretty big deal.
A huge deal.
Yes, I know. It rocked Bobby's world. All right, Bobby. Let's talk about people who are moving teams instead of people who are dying, because this is just one notch above in the happiness factor. All right, Bobby. Now that LeBron has joined your beloved Los Angeles Lakers, you have the floor to gloat. You have the floor to bemoan what is going to be a championship-less reign with LeBron, or you have a chance to really have the floor. How do you feel about LeBron James being a Los Angeles Laker?
Well, as the resident LeBron stan that I've always been.
Yes.
Let me start with now. In all honesty, I've always been fairly critical of LeBron in his many decisions and also just choices on the court as to him being a player and how I feel like his actions are felt throughout the teams and just also throughout the fans' perspective. But as a player, you can't deny the fact that he's one of the greatest of all time. Honestly, in my opinion, and I said this even before he went to LA,
sure,
that I think he passed Kobe as one of the best players of all time, and I think it's between him and MJ, and I honestly think there is reason for debate, and I know this is a very questionable call to many people, but there's reason for debate over who's number one and who's number two. I still think Jordan's number one because of his pure dominance during that span of, 5-6 years?
Yeah.
But I do think LeBron is right there. And had LeBron had better teams around him like Jordan had, I think that we could be making a real comparison between who is the best player of all time. So with that being said, I'm very excited to see him on LA. I mean, LA has been needing this new blood, this reason for excitement. You know, one of the greatest franchises in NBA history, if not the greatest. Just they needed this refresher, and they have young pieces in place that have been, showing good signs of promise going forward. But they needed that big splashy pickup. They needed that splashy all-star or perennial player to really take this team to the next level. And for the past few years, they just haven't got that. And now they have it. Now they have one of the best, top two players of all time. Granted, he is older. He might not be as dominant, but we saw him this year have probably his best year ever statistically.
Yep.
So there's no denying that he's still at top form. Every year's a different story, but I'm super excited to see what he can do with this very young, very fresh Lakers squad. But my only reason for concern is, what in the hell was Magic and the Lakers thinking with all those stupid random pickups that they spent millions and millions of dollars on around LeBron?
Yeah.
None of it made sense, especially when the Warriors are able to get Boogie Cousins for next to nothing. You literally paid more for someone like Stevenson when you could have had Boogie Cousins.
Makes me so happy.
It blows my mind. But second off, I know I do that rant every single week, and I'm not trying to make that point again, that the Warriors are too dominant and it's bad for the NBA. I was excited about LeBron coming to LA for literally 30 seconds until I was like, oh, watch out, Warriors. Lakers have a shot. This is going to be interesting. I'm excited. Then breaking news, Boogie Cousin decides to play for free at the Warriors just to get a ring because he's sorry.
You shots fired. Shots fired to the Boogie Cousin stands here at the Club in the Goods studios.
It blows my mind, okay? And how the NBA allows this kind of travesty is beyond me. And how they think that this is good for the NBA is beyond me. Well, it's seriously so frustrating.
Okay, so we're going to Boogie right now because we got to talk about this. So the reality is, it was Golden State, it was Los Angeles, it was maybe Boston, and I mean that was about it. I mean, no other team really offered Boogie any type of real salary. When he tore his Achilles in January, I guess. The Pelicans offered him a 2-year, $40 million deal, which, in hindsight looks pretty good, but they didn't offer that to him this summer. So the Lakers had the same opportunity to sign Boogie Cousins that the Warriors did, but they, in all their genius and glory, decided that, no, we need to win now, and because Boogie might miss the first 2 or 3 months of the season, that's going to just derail our title hopes, so we need to sign JaVale McGee, Rajon Rondo, and Lance Stevenson instead. That's going to help us open up our championship window. It's just absolutely... When the Lakers brought in Magic Johnson, I think pretty much what has happened is exactly what I envision seeing. Magic, he's going to have the high wattage smile. He's going to have he's not only a genius in basketball, he's a genius in business, and he's going to do all these great things, and they're going to make the Lakers great again, and all this stuff. And he's going to bring in marquee free agents. And look, yes, he brought in LeBron, and he was going to either bring in LeBron or Kawhi or Paul George or a combination of 2 or 3 of those guys, and it was going to be great. But then you look at the rest of the additions. Magic Johnson, and look, I don't want to start too much of a Magic bashing thing. He seems like a very nice man and everything. But he is not a great NBA commentator. He was not good on ESPN commentating on NBA basketball. He was not good as a head coach. And so far, I mean, yes, he bagged LeBron, but he has not proven to be a good general manager or front office guy, because if you think that surrounding LeBron James, and whether you think he's the best player ever, the second best player, the fifth best, whatever, you cannot argue with the fact that the combination of scoring and passing ability that LeBron James has is better than anyone else has ever had. The only argument you can have for someone like Jordan is, well, he's a better pure scorer. He's probably a better individual defender, but you can't say that Jordan, when you combine the scoring and the passing, that he's as good as LeBron, because he's just not. LeBron is, if he was just a point guard, he could have averaged 15 assists a game throughout his career. He would have been maybe the best point guard ever. He could have been the next Magic Johnson if he wanted to be, but he wanted to be a blend between Magic and Michael Jordan. That's what he is. But so you have LeBron there, a guy who can make all these brilliant passes out to three-point shooters. All you need to do is surround LeBron with three-point shooters who can play defense, and you have an NBA title-worthy team. And then decide to pick up 4 guys, three of which cannot shoot threes. JaVale McGee, who is, a defense and rim run guy, fine, but he's kind of a head case, and he was able to win a title in Golden State. Good for him. Rajon Rondo, who is also kind of a head case, who cannot shoot threes, who hasn't tried on defense in the last, 7 years since he left Boston. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, yeah, he's fine, but he just spent time in jail. I mean, I know this is a guy that is in the same agency as LeBron, so they want to be, get their guys some simoleons, get paid just like he did with Tristan Thompson and J.R. Smith back in Cleveland. But how'd that work out with how much they are making, in Cleveland? Yeah. So, I mean, they're kind of giving the guy the pat in the back, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, the only guy who has a legitimate shot at being a three-point marksman. And then Lance Stevenson, are you kidding me? Lance Stevenson to pair around LeBron. So let's just say you put out the 5 guys that the Lakers have signed in free agency so far this year as a starting lineup. And I know they won't, because they have other better pieces that are going to start, like Brandon Ingram, probably Lonzo, although, Lonzo versus Rajon could be an interesting training camp battle. So you got Rajon Rondo, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Lance Stevenson at the 3, LeBron at the 4, and JaVale McGee at the 5. And you come into free agency with $50-60 million to be able to spend, and you have that 5. That team barely makes the playoffs. I mean, I know LeBron is amazing, and Rajon Rondo is able to turn it up throughout his career, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope still has some maybe some potential he could tap into there. But that is not a good team. That is just not a good team. And I know
it's no better than the team they had in Cleveland.
Right, exactly. And the only thing that is saving the ability of to say that they could actually be a contender, to get to the Western Conference Finals even, is the fact that, one, they have LeBron, and two, they have the young players like Brandon Ingram, who, and Kyle Kuzma, who might be able to take their game to the next level and be the second and third stars that LeBron could need. Because the guy,
Lonzo.
I don't have high hopes for Lonzo being a star. I just don't.
We'll see.
I think he's going to be a poor man's Jason Kidd, which, hey, it could be very good. He could be, a 3 or 4 time All-Star. I don't see him being a 10-time All-Star. There's no way. I think the guy who has the best chance of doing that, of the young core for the Lakers, is Brandon Ingram. And I said from the beginning that I thought Brandon Ingram was a good pick, and I think he could be a Kevin Durant type scorer. Now, I don't think he's going to be Kevin Durant, but he could be a guy who scores 20 points per game in the NBA for a few years. He's a good scorer. But,
well, just imagine if they still had D'Angelo Russell.
Right.
Like, I think that would have been a match made in heaven, too.
Yes, a good shooter, a guy who can pass. But think of, okay, let's say Boogie Cousins doesn't play at all in 2018, but he starts January 1. So January 1st. Would you rather have Boogie for 4 months plus the playoffs, or Rondo, McGee, Caldwell-Pope, and Stevenson? I mean, it's easy. And you wouldn't even have to make that decision, because Boogie would have played for $6 million. You could have just given the contract you gave to Lance Stevenson to Boogie, and you could have had Boogie, Caldwell-Pope, Rondo, and LeBron, and could have gone through with that. If Magic Johnson or Rob Pelinka win General Manager of the Year, I will go off, because everything the Lakers have done besides LeBron, that's my second worst NBA pickup of the offseason. The entire team besides LeBron is second worst.
Well, and then also the fact that they released the big man. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on his name?
Yeah. We're talking about the power forward there. The good power forward. Real strong young guy. The guy who broke his leg. The guy who we all know. The guy that we're talking about is the one and only Julius Randle.
Thank you. I like it. We're both buying time to look it up.
Yeah, Julius Randle.
Yeah, Julius Randle. The fact that we dropped him, it blew my mind to pick up all these pieces in place that just really. I mean, he would have added depth by keeping him. I just don't get it.
So, pretty much, essentially what would have happened was the Pelicans traded Rajon Rondo for Julius Randle. I mean, because Rondo was on the Pelicans last year, and he's making $9 million upcoming. Julius Randle was playing for the Lakers, obviously, signed with the Pelicans for 2 years, $18 million. So he's making $9 million a year. If you were the Lakers, who would you rather have, Rajon Rondo or Julius Randle? I think the answer is easy there. It's Julius Randle. I just don't understand what they did, and the fact that they did not move in on Boogie because they wanted to compete right away, and then they made all these other signings is going to be a year from now or 10 months from now when the finals are over or the finals are about to start, and we look back at that quote, we're going to be shaking our heads, going, "What in the world were Rob Pelinka and Magic Johnson thinking?" Because that is the worst possible statement to say, and then continue to sign the guys that they did. I just wait for them to sign Nick Young next.
Yeah, well, is there any thought behind the fact that maybe they signed Rajon Rondo so that maybe his friendship with DeMarcus Cousins would help bring Boogie over to LA?
But they didn't. They could have signed him. All reports say if they offered him a similar or maybe a little bit more contract to play with the Lakers, he would have signed with the Lakers. Which would have
then why the hell didn't they get him?
Because they're dumb. Because they're very dumb, Bobby. Because they saw LeBron, which is the most obvious thing you can ever see with your basketball watching eyes, and said, "We want this guy." Well, of course, he's LeBron James. Whoever said he's not a good player is as blind as a bat. But everything else has just been abysmal. They don't know how to build a basketball team. I'm sorry. The Lakers are not going to get out of the Western Conference semifinals unless they make a trade for someone like Kawhi. And maybe the only way they can redeem themselves from this is if they know that they're going to be trading like Ingram, Kuzma, and Hart for for Kawhi, and they're going to need some pieces around them, and they're going to need some veteran leadership. And hey, you know what? Then maybe it looks okay. And they needed to get some guys because they knew the trading process with San Antonio was going to take a